Silverstone's the setting for the penultimate round of the British Touring Car Championship. Rory Butcher had claimed a British Touring Car pole position for the first time and blasted into an immediate lead in the opening race of 3 at Knockhill in Scotland, while Andrew Jordan powered inside Dan Camish to grab an early second spot. However, the race was halted early on following a clash between Michael Creese and Nicholas Hamilton. Once racing resumed on lap 8, Butcher continued to fend off Jordan, although he was struggling with a loss of second gear, which is only used under power, accelerating away from the hairpin on the 1.2-mile-long track. Further back, Matt Neal and Ash Sutton both failed to finish after a collision on lap 11. Sutton put his Subaru down the inside of the Honda going into McIntyre's as they battled over 10th place. Both were forced to retire with damage as a result. As the race drew to a close, Jordan had kept the pressure on and made his move for the lead as the duo powered out of the hairpin to begin the 27th and last lap. Jordan had better traction and went to the outside of the Honda, drawing level as the pair went over the timing line and then moved to the inside for Duffy's dip. However, Jordan was unable to slow the rear-wheel drive machine and ran wide, allowing Butcher to pounce down the inside going into McIntyre's and regain the advantage, which he then held to the flag. Race 2, and Andrew Jordan powered away from the front row to claim the lead into Duffy's dip for the first time, while poleman Rory Butcher, who had full ballast, slotted into second place. While Jordan settled into a rhythm, Butcher came under attack from Dan Camish. They swapped positions at the end of lap 6 when Camish made a late lunge on Butcher at the hairpin to claim second. Butcher was delayed in the move and it allowed Turkington to power ahead by the time the pack had reached Duffy's dip at the start of lap 7. Butcher tried to reclaim third place down the inside into McIntyre's, but made contact with the rear of the BMW, spinning Turkington into the gravel. The championship leader would recover, but would finish out of the points. Jordan continued to claim his 6th victory of the campaign from Camish, which has slashed Colin Turkington's point lead to just 4, while Butcher finished 3rd, despite pressure from Senna Proctor. Butcher's podium finish would stand, but he was handed a 5-place grid penalty for the final race, following his coming together with Turkington. The 3rd and final race saw Jake Hill in pole position, and away well, with soft tyres and only 6 kilos of success ballast. There would be 2 safety car interruptions. The first was caused when 7th place starter Senna Proctor spun into the path of Andrew Jordan, which took the race 2 winner and championship chaser into the gravel and out of the event. Hill would stretch out a gap to the chasing Josh Cook after the restart and pulled out almost a second until another safety car was called when a loose wheel from Mike Bushell's Honda ended up on track. After a single lap behind the caution car, Hill again powered clear. He had won the reverse grid race at Alton Park in June, but was penalised for contact then and stripped of first place. This time, there would be no such drama despite a wobble on the final lap coming out of the chicane. He held on to take the win. At last, he'd realised his maiden British Touring Car victory. Meanwhile, Turkington, who had started 19th on the grid, fought his way up the order to grab a 10th place finish. Following Jordan's non-finish, it means that Turkington maintains his grip at the top of the points, but is only 10 ahead of his rival.
Michael Creese was on wets. He's going to go back onto slick tyres and start from the pit lane as we get set then for round 25 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. There is a race in isolation to enjoy, but there are also the machinations for the championship to factor into this as well. Who is helping who is where in terms of track position out of certainly that big 3 for the championship. It's time to go racing. The lights go red. Who is going to make the best start? Jason Plato gets away very nicely indeed. Ingram slides across and almost gets up alongside Oliphant. Not a great start by Smiley. So round the outside of him goes Matt Neal for second. Up the inside goes Tom Ingram. And Tom Oliphant's going to try to get fourth. So Smiley is the one that's dropped back. But Plato converts pole into the race lead, chased by his old nemesis, Matt Neal.
Yeah, as we suspected, the cars on the left made the best start. Camish looking at getting past Cook on the outside. That's going to be the wettest part of the track, but great start by Plato.
On board with Josh Cook as he comes up here to have a go at Colin Turkington. Remember that Josh Cook comes here fourth in the championship. He's leading independent. He's on the outside line. Turkington doesn't want to fight, but equally doesn't want to be giving away points as the leaders dive down towards Brooklands. Cook goes ahead of Turkington, and there Ingram and Neal getting themselves together. Ingram in the Toyota Corolla goes through. He's on a mission. Tom Oliphant would like a first ever touring car win. He's looking to get it in on the act as well. But at the end of lap one, it is Jason Plato who leads the way.
Jason Plato, I don't need to remind you, he's on 96 touring car wins. He desperately wants to be the first man to win 100 touring car wins. He set himself up perfectly at the start of this race for his 97th.
So can he hang on in there? He's 11/10ths up on Tom Ingram in a car that looked a real handful yesterday, but looks pretty good thus far. Morgan and Moffat going through. And this is a replay of Beckett's with Dan Rowbottom in strife. He comes across the front of Carl Baldry, around he goes. The lead gap down from 11/10ths to 9/10ths, so Ingram catching Plato early doors in this race. There you can see Matt Neal ahead of Smiley, ahead of Cook. Chris Smiley trying to make amends for his duff start, and he's up the inside line. He's going to go through, is he? The two leaders are nose to tail as well as they come across the timing line. So Smiley goes third, and there they are. Ingram flashing the lights at Jason Plato, who years ago, remember, discovered Tom in Ginetta Racing, put him on his young driver programme. They had that great battle at Rockingham when Tom had his first podium, and right now Ingram is all over the back of the Vauxhall Astra like a cheap suit as they go up towards Beckett's.
Fastest lap on the last lap for Tom Ingram. Well, 7/10ths faster. I mean, that's a huge chunk. Look at the size of these cars. These are two almost identical shaped cars. They're both hatchbacks. They're both driven by the Toka engine. So this is purely down to setup for these conditions. Ingram and the Speedworks team look like they've got the car nailed. Plato's having a moment at Brooklands. He's going to defend hugely, I'm sure, but he just hasn't got it working. Maybe that soft tyre isn't working as well. Look at Ingram's grip. He just carves around the inside.
Side by side into Woodcote. Tom Ingram has the ideal line, the shorter line, the tighter line. He's got the race lead just. They lean on each other. Let me back in, says Jason Plato. But Ingram is not going to be fazed by that. Through he goes on the inside. Tom Ingram leads down towards Cops Corner. Ingram is ahead. Can Plato fight back, or is he going to drop away? Well, we know that Jason never gives up a fight. But right now it is Ingram who goes through, having started fourth on the grid. Can he stretch the gap?
Wow, that was the closest of the closest of the closest moves. You couldn't have put the proverbial cigarette paper between them. Here comes Plato looking back, but he doesn't even need to defend Ingram. He's just going to hold his line on the dry, and we saw him have a good lot of grip through that section on the last lap.
Smiley and Cook, third and fourth, doing absolute bests in the first sector on this lap, so they are closing on Plato as well. Now there is Jordan, who's ahead of Turkington, significant for the championship. They are both ahead of Dan Camish. So Jordan, who is 10 points behind Turkington, is ahead of him currently on the road. And Adam Morgan, look, has made storming progress. He was 15th at the end of the previous lap, having qualified badly with that broken gear stick, 23rd. And there is Matt Neal getting roughed up by Tom Oliphant as they come across the line.
Yeah, well, Camish and Neal just don't seem to have the same pace, do they? They're not as quick as the BTC racing cars. Cook has set the fastest lap in one of those cars on the last lap. Matt Neal now getting passed by Bushell. He slips through. So whether Matt Neal is just dropping back to help Camish, I don't know. But neither of them have some great pace. But, well, Jordan is the guy that, as you say, has now got in front of Turkington.
The trouble is, as Matt Neal is dropping back, so is Camish. Camish is 16th and out of the points. So that plan isn't working. It looks as though both of those cars are struggling in these conditions, doesn't it?
Yeah, clearly struggling hugely.
Damage on Stephen Jelly's car as Michael Caine goes past him. and it's big damage. You can see the wheel is trying to part company. It's contact with Mark Blundell, we understand, that has done for Stephen Jelly, and whoops, big drama for Turkington as around he goes. Turkington spins, coming through Woodcote. That drops him outside the points as people stream past him. You don't often see Turkington facing the wrong way, but there a spin coming through Woodcote. We'll try and find out whether it was self-induced or whether there was a push, but that has dropped him to virtually the back of the pack. Look, as he goes through, he's now in 25th place. So he's with Collard, and there's contact.
Yeah, that Collard had Morgan on his inside, and there just wasn't room for the 3 cars. And Colin Turkington would have been unaware of just how little room there was on the right with 2 cars on his right-hand side.
Right, so that is bad news in race 1. Bad finishing position and no points potentially. And he's also got a lot of work to do in race 2. Stephen Jelly for the pit lane. Mark Blundell's car to the pit lane. Both with front damage, interestingly. Fastest lap of the race now, Chris Smiley. Fastest lap of the race now, Tom Ingram, as he goes across the line, and the gap is up to 7/10 over Jason Plato as the walking wounded limp down the pit road. There are the leaders. Smiley 3rd, ruining that bad start. Cook is 4th, dropping away now, busy keeping Sutton behind him. We are on lap 10. That means there are 13 to go.
Yeah, so we're not even at halfway yet, and Plato's definitely not out of this.
No.
There's bits there, that looks like where the damage was cursed between Blundell and Jelly. But it's a fascinating race to see how different cars perform differently at different times, because at the start Ingram had so much more pace. Here's a replay. Look to the back of your screen. Top of frame. Oh, that was Blundell on the inside, wasn't it? Inside of Jelly, and his right front, Jelly's right front contacted the left front of Blundell.
And Jordan is on the back there, look, of Chilton as they drop down towards Brooklands. Adam Morgan up to 12th from 23rd. That's a pretty mighty effort. Aidan Moffat there in the Laser Tools Racing Infinity on the outside line as he comes down to Brooklands. And Aidan Moffat losing out behind Bobby Thompson. So 19th and 20th, they are on board with Thompson now. Up through the gears into Woodcote. So Thompson for Team Hard with the Volkswagen CC. 19th a lap ago, 19th he stays. Canish up a place, up into 14th spot now, incidentally.
Yeah, a few personal milestones in this race. This race is actually Chris Smiley's 100th BTCC race. It's Andrew Jordan's 350th, and it's Tom Ingram's 175th race.
Makes you feel old, doesn't it, with all of these, when you think about seeing them come into the category in some cases.
Well,
now,
you've commentated on all of them, David.
Josh Cook under attack from Ash Sutton, he says, moving on. Sutton crawling all over the back, into the back virtually there up at Luffield.
Well, that's where the Subaru works so well, on the tight corners, the change of direction, braking and turning in. Remember, we saw that at Alton and at Croft, but he's just not going to... Cook's not leaving the door open at the moment. He knows where his strengths are, and he knows where the other car... That's Jordan. He's doing the best out of the championship protagonists.
He's gained a place, look at the expense of Chilton, so that puts him into the top 10. There he goes, bit of a rub, but the door opens, through he goes.
Now, would you say that was a push to pass? Should he give that position back? If he doesn't, he... Oh.
That was a Subaru going way, way wide. That would be either Proctor or Sutton, of course. Let's wait and see what a sector time offers up in terms of which one it was. There's certainly damage on the front of Jordan's car, and it's Proctor that went wide, and he's got a problem by the look of it. He's got a puncture, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Left front puncture. That's... There's a couple of places where you can incur that. If you cut Brooklands corner, the corner we're just seeing here, if you cut the inside of that too much, you can get a puncture from the inside of the sidewall.
Now, Mike Bushell ahead of Matt Neal. That's for 7th and 8th places, the fight that you're looking at now. The race leaders are on lap 15, so within 8 laps of the checkered flag now, and the lead gap, 1.4 seconds. Ingram's now checked out.
He has. He's found the car again. Bushell getting a black and white warning flag. Butcher getting a black and white warning flag. And Michael Caine getting a black and white warning flag.
Just tell us who's not. Probably quicker now, isn't it? We've got to that point of the race. So Jordan is up into 9th. I don't think the answer has yet been offered as to whether that was a push to pass. Tim left it hanging in the air.
Well, you know, if I was... I think if I was the car in front, I would feel that that was a push to pass. I'd certainly be complaining about it, but well, we'll see what Chilton and the Motorbase team do.
Significantly, now that he's ahead, Jordan's pulling well clear, is he not? There is Adam Morgan, who is now in 11th at the expense of Collard. Camish 13th, but this is not the result he was looking for in race 1, is it, at all?
No, definitely not.
It's not done yet. He might gain another place, maybe 2, possibly, but even so, he's significantly behind Jordan. Now, what about Turkington? He's 21st, and that is Bobby Thompson going off the road, so that's going to give Turkington 20th place. However, actually, Thompson's had his moment pretty much where Turkington had his a few laps back. Thompson gets back into the race. There is Aidan Moffat going ahead of Jay Hill. Sideways contact into Copse Corner. Moffat has effectively never raced a rear-wheel drive car up until this, and he certainly never raced one in greasy conditions, but he gets ahead of Hill, and Turkington gets ahead of the pair of them while they were having their own dramas. So Turkington found the gap. The Infiniti looks a bit dog-eared around the right front, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It was Aidan's birthday yesterday, I think, and he's certainly having not the birthday present he wanted.
That's right, yes. So the celebrations are on ice. Now here's more dramas. Moffat all over the grass, and he is on the tail of Bobby Thompson, and round goes Thompson. So again, it looks like there might have been a nudge from the back. Around he goes. Now, Oliphant has got himself ahead of Sutton, and Sutton is dropping down the order. He's got a puncture as well. There he is, just like Senna Proctor. The left front has gone pop on the second Subaru.
Well, that's a strange one. Strange one. May have been some contact, but for both of the cars in the same team to have the same puncture is a little odd.
And Proctor has now done the fastest lap of the race. Aidan Moffat goes through. Turkington is 14th now. Colin Turkington will salvage 2 points out of this as he dives down towards Copse Corner. Oh, all that effort for relatively little reward, but as we keep saying, now every point matters. We're on lap 20.
Of 22, so not long to go, and the gap in front of Turkington is going to be too much now. There's 3.5 seconds up to the next man, so that's probably what he's going to get, unless, of course, there's instance in front.
Yes, for this is the British Touring Car Championship, lest we forget. Anything can yet happen. Lap 21 we run. Ingram is 2.8 seconds ahead of Jason Plato. I said at the end of the qualifying report, anybody that beats Jason in this will have earned it. Well, Tom is that man, seemingly, because Jason was so determined, wasn't he, to convert pole into a win. But Tom Ingram, who is part of that new generation of touring car racer, getting himself ahead of Jason Plato early in the race. Now, for the championship, at the end of this race, if things stay as they are, it will be 4 points between Turkington and Jordan, and 9 points covering the top 3 with 5 races still to go.
Thank you very much, BTCC. Just what we want to see. I had a long chat with Tom Ingram yesterday, and because obviously he won that race at Snetterton, and I thought, right, that's it, he's going to be right there, and then hasn't had a repeat of that performance. He says that's all down to the car, the way the car reacts to high-speed bumps. In other words, the sort of bumps you get at Alton Park and at Knock Hill, but on a flat surface the car's fantastic, and of course that's exactly what we've got here.
Yeah, Christian Dick describes this as Snetterton-esque, and of course it had that win at Snetterton. Another win went begging when they had the wastegate fail in race 2 when Ingram was leading, and yes, they've been looking forward to this, as you say, a nice flat surface, flat track, and it's going to be win number 3 for a brand new car. As you look at Andrew Jordan, who is, despite missing those 2 races at Donington because he didn't score in the first with the accident, he is going to be 4 points behind Turkington with 5 races to go. However, let's think championship in a little while. Let's worry about the race. We're on the last lap of it, and there is the Team Toyota GB with Ginster's Toyota Corolla. Tom Ingram at the wheel of it, coming down towards Brooklands, and this, on pure pace, he's going to be as happy as a dog with 2 team principals, isn't he? Because Tom Ingram, for Speedworks, is going to win on pure pace. He comes out of Luffield, heading up towards the timing line. Tom Ingram is going to win race 1 at Silverstone. The Toyota Corolla across the line wins race 1 of 3 on the national circuit here. Tom will be very, very happy with that, as Adam Morgan goes round the outside of Chilton. Up the inside goes Collard. Camish tries to gain a place and gain points. Can he do it? No, not quite. Plato takes second, Smiley third, Cook fourth, and all of this is going on for 9th place. It's Morgan ahead-ish. Chilton is back through on the inside of Collard. Here comes Camish. Camish gets ahead of Collard on the line, and out of all of that, it means that Camish gets 11th place in the race, having been out of the points at one stage. Turkington 14th, Camish 11th, Jordan 8th, Ingram the winner. Time for a deep breath. Round 25 of the British Touring Car Championship won by Tom Ingram. Jason Plato second, 4 seconds adrift at the end. Chris Smiley third ahead of his teammate Josh Cook. Tom Oliphant fifth, and then it's Matt Neal in sixth. Mike Bushell, a great seventh ahead of Andrew Jordan, getting closer in the championship. Adam Morgan ninth, up from 23rd. How about that for a drive? And Tom Chilton rounds out the top 10. For the championship, 25 rounds done. Colin Turkington leads Andrew Jordan by just 4 points. 8 points cover the top 3. Now Dan Camish third ahead of Josh Cook, leading independent from Rory Butcher. Tom Ingram is still sixth ahead of Ash Sutton and Matt Neal. Jason Plato is ninth, and the top 10 rounded out by Tom Chilton.
Coming up next, more racing from Silverstone and the British Touring Car Championship. Welcome back to the British Touring Car Championship at Silverstone.
Stephen Jelley's repaired BMW, Mark Blandell's repaired Audi, all ready to go. And Tom Ingram then on pole position awaits the lights to go to red. Round 26 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship underway. Good start by Ingram, good start by Cook, who tries to move across to defend from Oliphant. Ingram leads the way, Plato slots in behind him, then it's going to be Smiley and side by side for fourth. Oliphant on the outside of Josh Cook, BMW just ahead. They accelerate through Cops Corner for the first time, still side by side. Look, Josh Cook trying to stand his ground in the Honda there, so he's got the inside line for Beckett's. He will brake as late as he possibly can. Does he scrabble up the inside? Yes, he does. Does he gain the place? Leans on Oliphant a little bit, and finally he does go through there.
Yes, tight battle there, but a good start from both Ingram and Plato. Ingram's away. I did notice out of the commentary box window, Jack Goff was completely out of position on his start box, right in front of one of the Tocal officials with his camera phone out.
So we will await more developments on that as the leaders come up towards Luffield for the first time. Jordan on the tail there of Adam Morgan. He has got Dan Camish behind him as well. Turkington is on the move as the leaders then come up towards the completion of lap 1. Ingram, remember, when he had maximum weight at Snetterton, led race 2. Wasn't getting away, but he was confident and he had them all stacked up behind him, and that's what's happening at the moment with Plato second and Smiley third. Fourth is Cook, fifth is Oliphant, diving down towards Cops Corner, sixth Neal, seventh Morgan, Bushell is eighth, Jordan's up to ninth, Camish up to 10th, and Turkington is up to 12th.
Yeah, Jordan's pushing his way through, Camish is trying to go with him as well.
This is the view coming out of Cops on board with Simpson. That's Turkington ahead, Collard alongside him. Turkington's got the inside line for Beckett's out of Mangots. Can he squeeze back through on the inside? He can. Here comes Simpson. Rubs up alongside Collard, but through he goes.
Yeah, takes the advantage to go through, does Matt Simpson. Good driving there. Camish has made up another place as well. He's only got his teammate now, Matt Neal, in front of him. Watch Matt Neal jump out of the way. He'll get out of the way straight away and then act as rear gunner to block the cars behind. The first one behind will be Morgan. I'm sure Neal will get straight out of the way, even possibly as soon as the start-finish line.
And now Cook coming under attack from Tom Oliphant. So as they're running rather wide is the AMD Honda coming out of Luffield. The field pouring over the timing line. Order is Ingram, Plato, Smiley, Cook, Oliphant, the top 5. Neal is 6th. 7th now Camish, 8th Morgan, 9th Jordan, 10th Bushell. There are yellow flags in sector 1. And does this explain why, potentially? Because as the cars came through, we have a big slide from Adam Morgan, Camish up the inside of him to go through, and we understand Rob Collard has got a problem now as well. But yellow flags in the first sector of the lap. Out of Brooklands they come. Great little battle going on behind these two, because have a look, you'll see Smiley and Morgan and Turkington going through on the inside of Jordan there. So the reigning champion gains track position over his teammate. That will put him up into 9th, Jordan down to 10th. That's important for Turkington. And drama in the background. Look, cars with sponsor hoardings wrapped round the front, and they're heading towards the pit lane, plus Jack Goff for his drive-through. It's one of the motor-based Fords, wasn't it? So Chilton, I think it is, who's got some damage at the front.
Turkington past Morgan. I mean, that car is absolutely flying with no weight, as I say, and also the soft tyre gets great traction. It's fast in a straight line, no weight on board as well. It's going to be very quick, I think, before Turkington is past Smiley. It won't be long.
Morgan won the Dunlop Forever Forward competition within race 1 for gaining 14 places. Colin Turkington's going to get some good results out of this race, the way he's carving his way up the order as well. Here he goes, launches up the inside of Chris Smiley, the two Northern Irish drivers side by side, and Turkington goes through, picks up another place. He's therefore got 2 cars, look, between him and Jordan goes through on the inside of Adam Morgan. That's becoming Andrew's move, isn't it, at Luffield, that approach? Yeah,
now it looked... I didn't see the start of that. Does Morgan get back in front of Jordan? Maybe letting him back through if there was contact. Didn't want a repeat of what happened in the first one. No, he's staying in front.
This now is a 3-way fight for the race lead. Plato has caught up to Ingram and he's taken Oliphant with him.
Yeah, it's a reversal of what happened in race 1, isn't it? When Ingram had the superior grip in the slightly tricky conditions.
So he's on the soft tyre in this race. There's a driving standards flag for Ollie Jackson there. Look, number 48 in the Motorbase Ford. He's got Ash Sutton behind him, who is 15th. But more and more cars with the wipers on, if only intermittently, but there are those spots of rain, so we could end up with a damp track by the end. There's a smoky car in all of that, isn't there, as well, going into Cox Corner? Who's that?
That's Ollie Jackson's car that's billowing smoke. It seems to have cleared a little bit now. Or no?
No, it's Butcher. It's Rory Butcher.
Right, it is.
Rory Butcher's Honda is the smoky one. Up now towards Beckett. He loses out to Senna Proctor. So Butcher, who is fighting against Josh Cook for honours in the Independence Trophy, is dropping back through the pack. That puts him into 16th and out of the overall points as there. Plato dives up the inside for the race leader. There's contact and off goes Ingram all sideways. Oliphant gets into Plato. Oliphant's going to come through and take over the lead of the race. Ingram goes second and Plato ends up third. And Tom Oliphant, who's never had a British Touring Car Championship win, is suddenly gifted the lead because Plato dived up the inside of Ingram and contact was the result.
Yeah, that was a messy manoeuvre, wasn't it? They were all scrabbling for grip. Here we come again. Down the inside comes Plato, just taps the side of Ingram, and then Oliphant goes for the gap, which disappears. They all fortunately keep going.
2 big shouts go up from the fans. One as Ingram got hit, the other as Plato got hit. But look, he's bunched everybody up, and now Josh Cook is in strife. He's got Matt Neal and Dan Camish with him. And look at Turkington suddenly coming through up into 5th place now. And we've got Matt Neal in trouble on the outside line as he got some damage. So it's Oliphant, Ingram, Plato, the top 3. Who is going to be 4th at the end of the straight? Cook is dropping back, so 4th side by side, Camish and Turkington. And it's Turkington that gets forced out wide. Then Cook versus Jordan. Turkington back on. Josh Cook goes to the outside line. As the track has got greasy, Cook's starting to struggle in the Honda, and he is being mugged now because he's losing place after place.
Yeah, Jordan's come back through. Turkington was the one that got advantage there, and Camish. So Camish jumps from 6th to 4th. Turkington follows him through to 5th. The rain is really coming down now, and we've still got a long way to go. Puncture for Neal, that's going to put him out. He can't help Camish any longer.
So Matt Neal heading for the pit lane. Ollie Jackson is off the road. They're all struggling for grip at Cox. They're on slick tyres, of course. The road is getting wetter and wetter. And Tom Oliphant leads the way from Ingram, from Plato. That'll be another talking point, won't it, post-race? Jason's move. Let's have a look on board with Josh Cook looking back. Matt Neal is behind him as they go up to Beckett. Matt to the inside. There is Camish as well. Contact. They both go wide. Camish gets up the inside of both of them, but it was in that contact that Matt had the punctured tyre. Yeah,
he was turning and braking into the right at the same time. The wheel was vulnerable. Oh,
that's the replay of Jackson being hit by Butcher, and that's why they both went off the road.
So it wasn't just the slippery track, but this is a bit like, remember the end of the race 3 at Thruxton when it started raining? Yes. The difference then was there was only 2 laps to go.
Whereas now we've got 9, and the race order is Oliphant, Ingram, 6/10 between the two of them. In 3rd place, it is Plato. Yellows in sector 1. 4th, Camish. 5th, Turkington. 6th, Jordan. And that leading 6 are covered by under 2 seconds. And Morgan's all sideways in the background. The red Mercedes snaps sideways coming out of Beckett. And where is he? He's in the gravel. Oh, no. Adam Morgan's charge from race 1 ends up in the gravel in race 2.
And that could be a safety car. And if it's a safety car, they're going to lose temperature in their tyres because they're going to get colder going round behind the safety car, which would then make a restart really difficult.
They come out of Beckett's, and right now, Oliphant, somebody else going wide, Jake Hill. Safety car is now being deployed. Stephen Jelly is off the road as well up at Beckett's, and they race until they see the boards, which means Dan Camish is still on the attack against Plato, and here comes Turkington up the inside. He's got 2 of them. Plato out wide. Camish ends up going behind the BMWs. He's alongside Cook. He's got his elbows out. They're still racing until they get to the safety car boards. They'll see the safety car sign in a moment. They'll see the safety car on track on the other side of Copse Corner, but they push until the very last moment. Over the line side by side go Camish and Jordan. The yellow flags wave, which mean no overtaking. Slow down. The safety car boards are there, and the track conditions are getting worse all the time. Jordan and Plato, Jason Plato is still fighting by the look of it. Now they're trying to work out who was ahead when they got to the boards. And here is another replay. This is while the safety car is on track, and it's Jordan and Camish, and they're still debating who should be ahead. So Dan says, no, I should be ahead of you. And Andrew says, no, I don't think you should.
Yes, I should, says Dan. I mean, it's difficult, you know. It's difficult. You know, is it when they see the safety car board? Is it when they get to the... Look,
they're still side by side. Oh, well, rolling start.
Maybe they'll have to start side by side.
Yes, it's the only way to do it, isn't it now? So, wet road, slick tyres, temperatures dropping, pressure's dropping. Jason doesn't quite know what to do to assist in this. So
he's watching it in his mirrors and laughing. He's just laughing. Look, they can't even weave, really, because they're side by side.
So here we go. Oliphant leads, the car snakes as he puts down the power coming out of Luffield. We go racing once more then, as over the timing line the BMW leads the way. It's rear wheel drive from front wheel drive, rear wheel drive from front wheel drive. Oliphant, Ingram, Turkington, Plato, down towards Copse Corner they go. And this is going to be the first heart-in-mouth moment. Do they get through safely? Oliphant turns in. Yes, he does still lead, but he goes wide. And here comes Ingram. Oliphant's going to let Turkington by, isn't he, now? Because he's run out wide. He's got to help Turkington for the championship. So, yes, Oliphant effectively gives up a place to get Turkington through. But Jason Plato is going to capitalise on that and go third up on the inside line. But Ingram is back into the lead of the race. Now, new race distance, 24 laps because of the safety car period.
Yeah, and still weaving, trying to get vision and sight. Paul Tom Oliphant was the first one on the track to feel the conditions, never easy. Through goes Cook on Jordan up the inside.
And look at the way that Turkington is going, because he is closing on Ingram. It's now Plato versus Camish for third position, and Camish gets forced out a little bit wide. This might help Oliphant come back on the inside, so Plato goes third for the moment. You never know what's going to happen in the remaining, what have we got, 6 laps after this one. So Plato back into the top 3. Camish fourth, but he's ahead of Jordan, which is good for him in the championship. Oliphant is fifth. Conditions are getting ever more foul. I'm sure Josh Cook said he was expecting it to be dry all the way through, but the weather gods have had a change of heart here. Cook himself is sixth, ahead of Smiley, and the rest come diving down through Copse, as now Camish is on the attack once more, comes up alongside Plato and goes through for third place. Josh Cook and Chris Smiley hunting for traction coming through Luffield, and that is Carl Boardley going off the road. He's got damage, look, on the left rear corner, broken suspension there, and that car, I fear, on wet grass is going to struggle to get off there. If it does, it will limp to the pit lane. Front wheel drive, thankfully, does drag him back onto the circuit. So Ingram leads the pack. This is the replay of Carl Boardley being hit by Mark Blundell. And that's Boardley's race run. Ingram is leading by over a second from Turkington. Camish is third. Plato is fourth and dropping back, look now. Fifth is Cook. Sixth is Smiley. Seventh, Jordan was ahead, but now it is Mike Bushell who's gone through. So it's Bushell, Jordan, and then Oliphant.
Camish was the quickest man on that last lap of the leaders, so he seems to have closed down Turkington, doesn't he?
He does, so Camish inching up onto the back of the BMW. He was 11/10ths back at the start of the lap, and now look, he's about to go for the place. And a battle here will help Ingram back into the lead, of course, after the contact with Plato cost him the lead, and a red flag is being shown. Red flag is shown. The race is being stopped because of the track surface and the fact that they are on slick tyres, but then, of course, you have to go back a lap. We'll wait to see what lap the result is going to be declared from. They're still racing until they get to the flag. Look, Turkington making sure he stays ahead of Camish. Tom Ingram thinks that's his race win. Don't get too celebratory too soon, because it will go back, and we need to make sure that that was a lap that Ingram was ahead. So
he was ahead at the end of the previous lap. The man that's probably disappointed most is actually Camish, isn't it? Because he was closing quickly on Turkington and Ingram.
The result is going to be taken from lap 19, and that does confirm Ingram as the race winner, from Turkington, Camish, Plato, Cook and Smiley. So Tom Ingram it is that wins race 2 of the day. 2 out of 2 at Silverstone, a circuit at which he always goes well. Tom Ingram wins round 26 from Colin Turkington and Dan Camish. Jason Plato 4th ahead of Josh Cook and then Chris Smiley. Tom Oliphant 7th ahead of Andrew Jordan. Mike Bushell 9th and the top 10 completed by Matt Simpson. So, what about the championship? Here's your answer. Colin Turkington is 11 points ahead of Dan Camish, who moves now ahead of Andrew Jordan. Josh Cook is still 4th. He's 10 points off AJ. Tom Ingram is up to 5th ahead of Rory Butcher. Jason Plato is up to 7th now. Then it's Ash Sutton. Matt Neal is 9th. And the top 10 rounded out by Tom Chilton.
Coming up next, it's the final action of the day from the British Touring Car Championship at Silverstone.
Yeah, presumably to roll the dice and put wets on may not be a bad shout from look, you can see on the track they're making marks, lines in the road where the damp is there. So this is going to be tricky conditions for sure.
So the grid formed. It is the 3rd race of the day. It is round 27 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. And it is go. Great start by Ash Sutton, away like the proverbial stab rat. Good getaway too by Andrew Jordan. Matt Simpson slots in behind the Subaru as they head into Copse Corner for the first time. So it is Sutton, Simpson, Jordan then into 3rd place. Mike Bushell getting into the back of Tom Oliphant. They're all fighting for grip. Ingram is way out wide at Copse Corner and a chase for the lead. Simpson it is in the front-wheel drive Honda Civic. Alton Park winner last year. Matt Simpson leads up to Beckett's for the first time.
Great stuff. Oh, some lockups further back. Not quite sure how Ash Sutton managed to lose that. He did the hard work, but Simpson's out wide. Sutton's getting a good run out of Beckett's down the straight.
And here comes Jordan as well. Look at the BMW. Which way does Simpson go to defend? If he blocks one, he'll let the other one through. Jordan to the inside line. He's going to break as late as he can. Here comes Sutton around the outside. Subaru leads. What about 2nd place? It's Honda versus BMW. Simpson is all sideways. Can he hang on to it? No, he can't. He's off the road. Simpson goes off. Jordan loses places because past him will go Cook. Smiley's in on the outside line as well. And Matt Simpson, oh so briefly led, but he ends up on the grass. So at the end of lap, and there he is out of the race, shaking his head. He can't believe it. The marshal has gone to his aid, but Matt Simpson's race is at an end as Sutton leads over the line, and it's his old mate Josh Cook up into 2nd place. 7 tenths between them. 3 wide at Copse. In the middle is Smiley, and Jordan's going backwards.
Yeah, these conditions don't really suit the BMW. Ash Sutton, we know, loves these conditions. Let's look further back. There's championship protagonists.
Change for the lead, look. Cook's ahead of Sutton at Beckett. So, front-wheel drive Honda ahead of rear-wheel drive Subaru. Josh Cook said to me after the 2nd race, wish they'd not stopped it. We were fine for grip, we were going quicker. So these conditions absolutely playing into his hands.
Yeah, very much so. He loves it. The other man that loved it and who was flying at the end of that race was Dan Camish. Remember, he was closing down on Turkington. He's come up as well. He's looking strong.
Ingram's got a problem. Look, double winner. The Toyota, which we've seen out wide at Copse, is going slowly. He's keeping out of everybody's way. But Tom Ingram, I'm afraid, has got a problem. So the Toyota is heading for the pits. It is Josh Cook then, who is not only leading, but he is getting away as they come up towards the timing line. We've got yellows out in the 2nd sector because of Matt Simpson's off. Now, where does Jordan sit against Turkington? He's ahead of him as they come across the line, but only just. Race order: Cook, Sutton, Mike Bushell is 3rd. 4th is Plato. 5th is Smiley. Camish 6th. Ollie Jackson is 7th. Oliphant is 8th. Hill 9th. That might have just changed at Copse, in fairness. Michael Caine is in the top 10. And more drama in the background as way out wide goes Senna Proctor. But Jordan is 12th and Turkington is 13th. Contact, Smiley on Plato, through comes Camish. Dan Camish gains 2 places and Plato comes off badly.
Oh, that was perfect for Camish, wasn't it? I mean, Smiley was in a position to help his teammate Cook there by holding up Camish, but he just took himself out of the frame.
Yellows as they come down towards Brooklands. While all this is going on, Dan Rowbottom in the Cataclean Racing Mercedes is up into 11th place. We've got the safety car on the track as well, so they're all going to bunch up, but this is one heck of an order. Very jumbled indeed because of all the dramas and incidents. And as they come out of Brooklands, Rowbottom is still pushing on. There is Adam Morgan gaining a place before they get to the safety car boards, and it is Josh Cook leading the way. He had got quite a gap, but that is going to be eroded now. Safety car on track.
Let's just see what happened to... oh, he just got turned round with contact with Jordan. Jordan touched the back of Simpson's car and spun him round.
And into the barrier as well. And there is the race leader, so they are now all trying to escape from the pit lane just in the nick of time as we go racing once more.
We're going to have a fascinating prospect now, but the man I think that's completely at the front of the queue in terms of wet tyres is Jack Goff. Because of everyone else's pit stops, he's in 19th place, isn't he? No, he's actually in 14th place.
Now, yeah, exactly. And as you said earlier, he's done the fastest lap. So it is Josh Cook now with 19 laps to go, trying to preserve the margin as best he can. Mike Bushell second, and then Dan Cammish was third, but a change. Look, Chris Smiley has gone through 25 laps, the new distance, because of that safety car period. So let's see how long it takes those drivers on the wets to get up to temperature. Well, Andrew Jordan straight away, absolute best first sector. There is Jack Goff diving up the inside of Michael Caine. Aidan Moffat going with him. He's relatively new to rear-wheel drive, of course, only from mid-season. And there is a spin for Dan Rowbottom in the background. That gets Adam Morgan ahead of him. So there, Moffat goes ahead of Goff. That puts him into the lead of the wet shod element of the race.
Yeah, he runs a little bit wide. Can he pull the car back? Yes, he can. Lap times again. Cook doing 1:06. The front minute all doing 1:06.6s. And Goff doing a 1:04.9. Further down, the likes of Jordan doing 3.7s.
Cammish back ahead of Smiley. Look on the inside at Brooklands. And Aidan Moffat is becoming the man to watch. The Infinity is now leading the battle of those that are already onto the wet tyres. And he needs to get on with this before the likes of the BMWs come through. Aidan will be loving every minute of this, and he's always said he goes well in greasy conditions. That was his background in his junior days on the ovals. As there, Jake Hill comes up to have a go at Chris Smiley and goes through, and also Aidan Moffat. Now Smiley has a problem, and there for second place tries to go Dan Cammish. Smiley losing chunks of places. Look, I think he's got a problem. He's pulled off the road, has he not? So Chris Smiley is out of the race by the look of it. Teammate Josh Cook leads the way. A sideways Moffat up the curb. He's ahead of Jake Hill, but Jake Hill fights back on the inside line. Jake Hill, remember, is still on slicks. He's not gone onto wet tyres, so he is having a proper battle here with Moffat, but Aidan lines him up, goes through on the inside at Copse, and Ash Sutton is going with him. Now, Sutton, remember, is also now on wets. Sutton becomes the man to watch because he's about to go ahead of Moffat.
Yeah, Jake Hill just lost 3 places in one corner as the wet shot cars just sliced past.
Right, so Sutton could be on for the win here, couldn't he? He started on pole, he's made a pit stop, but he is the best of those on the wets, and they are reeling in the top 3. Now, we understand Ash Sutton's lost lap was all down to the fact that he came into the pit lane just as the green flag started, so that's why he's lost his lap, and Ash Sutton now then is trying to make up that lost ground.
So Cammish lost a place to Goff and Moffat on at Brooklands.
Okay, and up to the timing line. If there's another safety car, there's the possibility maybe of others diving for the pit lane, but now you've got to go with what you've got, haven't you?
Yeah, it's too late now unless there was a safety car, but then you haven't got much time to recover. You really have made your bed, you've got to lie in it. Goff set the fastest lap on earlier in the race on lap 2.
Change for the lead because that is Josh Cook versus Goff and Moffat, and Jack Goff is going to go through. Yep, he's done it, and Aidan Moffat will go through as well on the inside line going up towards Beckett this time, so job done. Josh Cook put up a really good defence for as long as he could on those slicks, but now through go those on the wets, and Jack Goff it is who leads the way, Aidan Moffat behind. So could we have a first ever win for Team Hard, a first ever win for an Infinity?
It could well be, and how exciting would that be? Both of them battling for a win.
Potentially an 11th different driver winner of the season, but other good stories could come out of this, and both of them are going to be as hungry as anything for an outright race win. Cook sliding his way through. Sam Osborne, remember, has gone onto the wets, but he also is a lap down like Sutton. He slightly mistimed the pit entry. There is Goff going through, Moffat behind him. So that puts 14 laps in the book now, 0.251 of a second between them. And Josh Cook dropping away. What he wants to do, what he needs to do, of course, therefore, is stay ahead of Cammish.
Yeah, I mean, the difference in lap time is 2 seconds.
Moffat spins out of Copse corner, recovers, and loses a place to Cook, and loses a place to Cammish, but he should get those back given the traction. Ironic, though, that it's a car on wets that's just spun.
Yeah, just pushing too hard.
So he's just got himself into that leading battle, then he spins down to fourth. Trouble is, even though he will recover the places, what he will perhaps not be able to do is catch Jack Goff, so that puts Jack now in the pound seats.
Oh, absolutely. Jack's now, his job's been made a lot easier, hasn't it? They were sort of matching each other neck and neck, really. Yeah. It was an interesting battle of front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. Here we go. He's out on the curb, and it just goes with a boot full of throttle. He's lucky it does a neat 360, and he's able to keep going.
Save of the day, that wasn't it? Yeah. Right, Camish has been caught again by Josh Cook. Here he comes up the inside. This could change things. Josh has a go. Tries to get the traction. He's up the inside. He's got the tighter line. And so Josh Cook should get third place once more as they come out of Woodcote. But he's fighting for traction. Side by side past the pit. On slick tyres on a wet road. They are on the edge. And Josh Cook on the inside. There's contact. Broken suspension for Cook. You see it go on the left rear corner. Around he goes. And Josh Cook's race is done.
Well, side by side at that speed on a track like that, wow, that was probably too brave. Oh, well, they're close as well,
absolutely,
aren't they? So there's no love lost between the Hondas and no love lost between the BMWs. Is Turkington going to get all the way around the outside? Yes, he does, even with contact, and then back again up the inside. Oh. Look at the front of Turkington's car, it's covered in mud.
They're still at it, aren't they? So Jordan it is, throwing the mud into the face of Colin Turkington, who now leans on Michael Crease. Goff leads Moffat, the gap's going up, so Jack Goff looks like he might be on for a race win with the inspired tyre choice. Jake Hill is up to third, the best of those on slicked. Camish is fourth, Matt Neal is fifth, Mike Bushell sixth, then into the pits has come Josh Cook. So that is a race that's got away. Not only was he losing a place, but now he's lost everything because of the damage.
Yeah, he won't get any points. And again, a fantastic drive by Jake Hill. I mean, the first of the slick shod runners, he's doing absolutely brilliantly.
And up from 16th on the grid as well. I mean, some of the places were bought with others pitting, but he has not put a wheel wrong. Right, there's Moffat, but he is losing touch with Jack Goff. The gap going up to 6 seconds last time. Jack Goff has gone through. 19 laps are done, 6 laps are to go. But Moffat is not catching, is he? 6.4 seconds now the margin. And then for third place, you've got Hill and Camish together. The BMWs are squabbling still. Jordan and Turkington, with Jordan 15th and Turkington 16th. So Turkington out of the points. Now, this is a replay of a lap ago. Remember we saw Turkington's car arrive with mud? Well, this is how it happened. He gets run out way wide by Jordan.
Oh. But, oh no! Morgan gets shunted up the back. He manages to save it, though.
That was Plato arriving on the scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And what damage, if any, has that done to Morgan? The car starts to crab. Don't tell me that's the end of his race as well with broken suspension. I think he's okay. He survives it. It's getting brutal now.
Yeah. Matt Neal's gone up to third in all of this. Remember, he's on the wet tyres and left Hill and Camish to fight amongst themselves.
So Goff, Moffat, Neal, the top three. Hill is fourth, Camish fifth, Oliphant sixth, Bushell seventh, Chilton eighth, Plato ninth, Michael Caine 10th, Adam Morgan's 11th, Turkington 12th ahead of Jordan, Crease, and then Butcher to round out those in the points. And having read all of that, it's all changed because Michael Caine gets mugged up at Beckett's.
Yeah, here comes Turkington. Turkington to pass Camish.
And this is significant for the title race, don't forget. Through goes the BMW. Camish on his slick, Turkington on his wet, so Dan Camish now struggling for traction.
Yeah, looks like there's been a big drop-off in performance just from Camish in the last lap or so. He's obviously struggling with something to get to the finish.
Josh Cook has just rejoined the race. Now, not sure he can salvage any points out of this. He's so many laps down, but he's back into the fray. There is Turkington then, who's gone ahead of Hill. So Goff, Moffat, Neal, Oliphant, Chilton, Plato, Turkington, I think is the order. It's all changing corner by corner. The significant bit now is that you definitely need to be on wet. It's no use just trying to brave it out. It's too much of a struggle. Dan Camish, Jake Hill doing a great job hanging on in there. But Jack Goff is on his last lap, and at Team Hard, they can't believe it.
Yeah, well, they better believe it. In half a lap's time, Jack Goff is going to be a winner outright for Team Hard.
Turning now through Beckett's. We've not seen the best out of Jack this year, sadly. late deal got him into the championship, which was the good news. There going through is Josh Cruikshank, the pace of the car on the right tyres. But Jack Goff looks as though this is going to be a win. It'll be a very, very popular race win for him. It will be a 5th of his career. The championship situation will come to in due course, but right now, with one more lap to go for many, only a couple of corners to go for Jack Goff, he will win for the first time for Team Hard, the 5th win of his career. Tony Gillam's Team Hard squad is going to have its first ever British Touring Car victory, courtesy of Jack Goff, who wins at Silverstone. He takes the flag and the whole pit garage erupts. So many days of effort has gone into that win. It is well deserved. Jack Goff wins round 27 of the British Touring Car Championship for RCIB Insurance with Fox Transport ahead of Aidan Moffat in the Laser Tools Racing Infinity. Matt Neal third from Tom Oliphant and Tom Chilton. Jason Plato bagged 6th ahead of Colin Turkington and Andrew Jordan. 9th goes the way of Michael Crease and Bobby Thompson it is that rounds out the top 10. Now, what about the championship? Colin Turkington is now 16 points ahead of Dan Camish, 17 ahead of Andrew Jordan, and then Josh Cook 4th ahead of Tom Ingram. Rory Butcher comes next from Jason Plato, Matt Neal, Ash Sutton and Tom Chilton.
There's just one more round to go, and that's at Brands Hatch when the champion will be decided.